Close. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA. It's Thursday. It's 8:30, not 8 o'clock. My apologies. A little extra traffic on the Merritt Parkway. So I'm home a little bit later than I wanted to be, but welcome. It's good to be here. Another great week at Student Athlete World USA as we steamroll towards our June tours. We are literally 6 weeks away, and it's very exciting. And what I can officially say today is we are officially, in terms of number of travelers, at the second best year in the long and prestigious history of Student Athlete World. So congratulations to all of our families traveling with us this summer. Obviously, a very exciting announcement. Yeah, a big thank you more than anything because, you can kind of choose a whole variety of summer plans, right? Vacations, camps, clinics, and those of you, and it's hundreds of you traveling with us this summer chose us. So a very special congratulations to Student Athlete World. And really thank you from the bottom of my heart. You all make this job so much fun and just a great job. So thank you. And if you didn't see the social media post today, it is an amazing thing that we this year will send athletes from nearly 36 states on our tours and in 2 countries as well. And that to me is something that I really value as well, because I think one of the more fun parts of this job, besides exploring the world, besides providing opportunities to our athletes, is really connecting with people from areas I'm not overly familiar with. Be it, the last couple of weeks, if you've been watching the show, you've seen we're going to Albania next year, potentially Poland, potentially Canada. In order to make these tours happen, whether they're existing tours or new tours, we have a lot of Zoom meetings with our friends in the countries that we're visiting to get a sense of whether or not this is a tour we want to do, or existing tours, how do we want to tweak those tours. So United World Games, where I'm going to be this summer, to build the United World Games tour, even though we do it all the time, we have to meet with our friends in Austria repeatedly. And so in that sense, we're getting to know a different culture. So most recently, when we announced our Albania tour, there was an amazing meeting with friends of ours from Albania to talk about the country, talk about the venue, the competition, the schedule, things like that. And so to have a chance to connect with friends of ours, partners of ours around the world is a special and amazing thing. And now, nearly 36 states across the United States represented in this year's tours. That's a really fun dynamic. We can say a majority of states in the country are traveling with us this summer, and that's really cool. Like that makes this job a lot of fun as well. Officially, I did 100% of our interviews this year, and we're not quite finished yet with the interviews. We still have a few roster spots that we can fill, and if we don't, our rosters are in great shape for this summer, so it's a win-win. But if you're watching and you're thinking about traveling with us, we'd love to have you. But things are great. Can't wait to be on the road with us and actually talk about our tours in person. And we're almost there. But a great time to be us. Another great week this past week. And during the next week, I think we're going to fill all of our coaching positions for the summer. We're going to announce team meetings. We're going to do Zoom meetings for each team. We're going to announce coach meetings as well. So a lot of work to do. It's a really busy time, but it is a lot of fun. And now this week's What in the World? What in the World is brought to you by the New York Rangers, my favorite hockey team in the world. And there's one reason for that. Not that they didn't make the playoffs this year. This season needed to end because had they made the playoffs, it probably would have been a quick first-round exit. So it's kind of like just put you out of your misery early. Of course, I want to see my favorite team play into the postseason, but they weren't going anywhere with this team. This was a very disappointing year. But they're on board as a sponsor tonight because as this is being broadcast, all right, as I'm speaking to you, tonight is the last game of the season for the Rangers. And if you're not a hockey fan, tonight Legendary hockey broadcaster Sam Rosen, who's been the voice of the Rangers since 1984, will call his final game. And he's calling his final game right now. And for me, and this is not the one in the world part, but just welcoming the Rangers as a sponsor. By the way, I need some free tickets next year. All right, I'm just putting that one out there. I've been a diehard New York Rangers fan since the season that Sam Rosen started as the Rangers play-by-play man. He is the most distinctive voice in all of hockey. He has spoiled us Rangers fans for literally 40 years because no hockey broadcaster remotely as good as Sam Rosen. And it's kind of sad. Like it's my childhood. It's one of the last kind of connections to my childhood coming to an end tonight. He is that good. I trying to think of a comparison. I would compare him in basketball probably to Marv Albert as the most distinctive voice of the sport. And ironically enough, Marv Albert's son Kenny will replace Sam Rosen as the TV play-by-play man for the Rangers. But to think that if a hockey season is 80 plus games, 82 games, it used to be 80 games when I was a kid. And I probably at points in my life watched 50 to 60 games a year, especially recently. So to have this voice and this man in your life for 50 to 60 nights a year for 40 years, it's a lot to see him call his last game. And rightfully, he's earned his retirement, of course. He's traveled to every away game. So it's a challenging lifestyle, and he's earned his retirement. But, man, I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss that voice. If you ever watch highlights of the Rangers winning their Stanley Cup in 1994, he's the one who said the waiting is over. The New York Rangers Stanley Cup champions, and this one will last a lifetime in that distinctive voice. And it's a power play goal, the most famous saying in hockey. He's the one who coined the phrase. So, Sam Rosen, congratulations on your retirement. Congratulations on 40 years of being the best in the business. And as a New York Rangers fan, I'm going to really miss you. But what in the world? We're going to the Carolinas, Tim. We're heading a little south of you to Gaffney, South Carolina, home of Limestone University. And in this space on this show, I have discussed a lot of issues in college athletics since I started doing this. And the one I've harped on a bit recently is how small colleges are handling their financial challenges with regards to athletics. And so Limestone University, and I went to the campus once, very small campus, but absolutely beautiful. It's a neat little school. It's a school that really built its enrollment on athletics. And I'm a firm believer that if you are a college and more than like 40% of your enrollment are athletes, you're in trouble. You need to have for every athlete, there's X amount of thousands of dollars that you're spending every year. For a non-athlete, you don't spend that money. So from the business model of a small school, too many athletes is not a good thing. And Limestone, if you look at their roster sizes in their sports, they have a lot of athletes for a school of like 1,300 kids. And it's probably, if I'm a betting man, it's at least 50%. I think that's just way too many. And yesterday, on April 16th, now keep in mind, colleges end their school year in early May. So 2 weeks before the end of the semester, they announced that essentially they're closing, which is shocking. In the sport of lacrosse, especially on the men's side, Limestone is a powerhouse, multiple national championships. So they announced that they're closing. It is possible that they're going to stay open, but only as an online school and close their physical campus, which would mean ending their athletics program no matter what. And what they need is a $6 million cash infusion immediately to stay open, to give them time to figure out a financial path moving forward. So the announcement came 2 weeks before the school year ended, which to me is very shady. All right. But here's the thing. If you read the physical announcement, you read the press release from the president, who's a newer president there. If you read what he had to say, he basically said, we don't have the money to continue operations, which is not uncommon right now among small schools. Like, I don't think any small college is safe, legitimate. But he also noted that the athletics program will be shut down if they're an online school only, because they realize that athletics people tend to be a little more emotional about their school. So to me, it sounded like a money grab. And also noted the economic impact that Limestone has had in their county that Gaffney exists in, for more than 100 years. And I'm sitting there like, all right, this clearly is a pressure tactic. They're clearly, I don't know if they're bluffing, but this was worded in a way that they wanted to tug at the hearts of those reading it. So now you have students panicking, and it's like, all right, we're going to shut down athletics. So in other words, the athletics people have to pony up some money. And by the way, there's going to be this $100 million economic impact to our county, which means, hey, county or state, you need to give us some money. I read this whole press release as nothing but a money grab, and it's extortion. If you don't give us this $6 million, we're going to close. All the students are going to go away. All these jobs are going to go away. It's going to kill the county. Think about your college campus, the local gas stations and food, supermarkets, stuff like that. They're going to suffer. Bars and grills are going to suffer, things like that. So this read to me as a complete and total money grab. But here's the thing. And here's why we're saying, what in the world, Limestone University? So let's say in the next 2 weeks, they're saved. Let's say they get the money that they need. They're going to continue. What does that mean for athletics? Because I'm a sports guy. I'm an athletics guy. What you've done is you've announced to the world, we may not stay open because we don't have the money, and athletics are on the chopping block unless we save our school. So let's say on May 1st, oh, everything's good. We're coming back next year. Could you imagine what the coaches there are thinking? Like, hey, I'm going to go call my next class of recruits and tell them to come. And my president has basically announced that we have no more money. And it's like, unless that infusion is 600 million or even 60 million, you can't guarantee more than next year, can you? So what they did was they tried to make a play for money. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I'm not involved with Limestone University in one bit. But looking at this long term, what do you need long term to stay open? You need more students. All right. And so let's say you sustain a number of athletes that you have. And they have football, they have men's lacrosse, they have a lot of athletes there. But you want to grow the non-athletic group to make more money for your school. You're going to lose athletes by announcing to the world that you've run out of money. That's just how it works. All right. We may close. Athletes out. I've heard their entire softball team is in transfer portal already. Men's lacrosse, they have talent on top of talent for men's lacrosse. They're probably all going to leave, no matter what, even if the school stays open. So you want to create a business model that's sustainable long-term. And let's say 50% of your students are athletes. You basically have said to 50% of your enrollment that we don't have the money to support you long-term, but we want you to come back and bring your friends. What in the world, Limestone University? You would have been better off saying we're facing some financial struggles. We need some money. We need to work together as a university community to figure this out, or we're going to have to close. All right. And you did that 2 months ago, too. All right. Why are you doing it 2 weeks before a semester is over? Your teams are getting ready for conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. And for transfers, most schools, the transfer deadline passed a month ago. All right. And so you've really hamstrung your entire community. And whoever made the decision did not make to release things the way that they did not make a decision in the best interest of the student athletes. So my prediction, no matter what happens with Limestone, within the next 3 to 5 years, I will discuss in this space that they officially close, even if they stay open past this semester. Bad form, Limestone University. If you're watching this, and I know you are, I'm very disappointed in you. That's it for the latest spin this week. As always, so much fun. And we have a couple roster spots to go. You want to get involved? Go to studentathleteworld.com. Complete your application, interview with me, and pack your bags. We'll see everyone next week. Have a great week, everybody. Happy Passover and happy Easter. Enjoy your holiday. Take care.